Yo bro, what are you scared of?
Well, I am scared of going into public and talking to people. Social anxiety, am I right?
Oh my god, you're so real for that.
Well, I hate to admit it, but I'm scared of this round flower for some reason. It is because, well, something about it just feels quite unsettling.
Yo, what the
Up, before you judge harshly, please hear me out, okay? So, we all have fears. Whether it's the fear of heights, darkness, or spiders, all of us have a weakness. So for this video, I'm gonna be sharing some weird things that scare me. So buckle up, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and I'm gonna go on with my video. Okay, so here's some context for the first fear. So when I was little, I used to play this digital math game on my iPad, and whenever you earn enough coins from completing tasks and getting questions correct, you get to choose a prize. However, one of those prizes was a rubber band that makes a little noise when you stretch it. One day, I got a rubber band in the shape of a daisy, and when I stretched it, it made a buzzing sound. Now back then, I was already scared of bees. Because they sting you, and if they sting you, you'll be in a lot of pain, which any rational human being with at least 2 brain cells does not want happening to them. So little me was scared that I would just be enjoying flowers, mainly daisies, and the bee would just spawn out of nowhere and be like,
Ha! Look at this, guys! We found our target. Let's take him.
Yeah, time to get the reign of our kingdom onto this idiot!
which led to things like these. So one day my family and I were hiking on a beachside mountain. The sun was shining, the wind was blowing, and it was a perfect day, until I saw this massive patch of white flowers covering the mountains and poking through the fences. And for a bit more context, I was mostly scared of these types of daisies, because, I don't know, something about them just feels quite unsettling. And as you already saw coming, when I got closer, wait, Mom, Dad, please don't make me go. Please, guys, don't, please. You trippin'. Oh my god, can you people just understand my situation for 5 goddamn seconds? Don't you guys even love me? And I had to repeat the same process again when we were going back home. And you think we're done? No, because a while after that, my family was at an outside shopping center and my brother and I were waiting for my parents to, I don't know, finish using the bathroom. Okay, I was too young to remember. But near the place we were standing at, there was this line of big pots where they put large aesthetic plants like snake plants, aloe, and any other houseplant you can think of. Now, the pot that was near my brother and I has this massive snake plant. And guess what was lining the bottom of the soil? Yup, you guessed it, daisies. Not these giant ones I'm scared of, these small, cute ones. However, at this point my brother already knew about my fear, and because of sibling rivalry, he picked up the small daisy and tried shoving it in my face. I actually started screaming. Eventually, when my dad got my brother to stop, I saw hundreds of pairs of eyeballs staring at me. To this day, I still wonder what these people might be thinking.
Yo, bro, are you seeing this right now?
Yep.
Phew, that was a mouthful, so last 2 stories about this fear before we move on. So, my neighborhood also has these daisies, but instead of white petals this time, they have pink petals. Well, at this point, my dad already figured out my fear, and he decided to show me that's not so scary. So, he decided to pick one up and... Honey? Yeah? Oh. Sorry, buddy. Okay, final story about this weird fear of mine. So one day, my brother had to take a test for something. My mom stayed with him, while I stayed with my dad so I can play outside and be hyperactive since I was a little kid back then. Well, we eventually made it to this part of the building, and there were vending machines. And I guess I was obviously bored and hungry at the same time, because my dad saw, and then he had this very evil, villainous plan. Hey buddy, yeah, what do you want, Dad? I will give you a big, fat $20 if you were to go over here and touch this daisy bush. Come on, you won't get the money until you get here. You know what? Screw this fear. I'ma get my money. I'ma get my money. Is what I would have said if I instead did not break down right then and there like a little bitch. And then my stupid butt kept saying, oh no, I'm scared. I'm allergic to pollen. Achoo, achoo. And thankfully there was no one outside of the building with us since it's like 7, 8 in the morning. Because if there were, then I would probably never see the live day again out of embarrassment. Thankfully, over the years, I've gotten a lot more braver, but for some reason, I'm still kind of afraid of going around these flowers. I don't know why, I hope I get over this fear soon. So for my second fear, I think it's actually a lot more common since it has something to do with the dark. And what do I mean by that, you might ask? Well, have you ever watched a scary movie once, and then suddenly, you cannot go into a dark room anymore since you're too scared? Well, that's exactly what happened here. And if you have been here ever since I used this art style, then first of all, thank you. Secondly, then you would know about my crazy fear of the emergency alert system, like Amber Alerts, Silver Alerts, and anything else that makes a very haunting noise. And it obviously doesn't help that my For You page back then was filled with YouTube recommending me with fake EAS scenarios as analog horror. And the analog horrors are very scary as well. They show something red and warped chasing you, or chasing another human being, and I obviously do not want to search up any more stuff like that again, so that I don't scare the crap out of myself again. But the reason why I wanted to add this into the video is because of this specific incident that keeps happening to me. So every summer vacation, my parents would take my brother and I all the way to China so that we can visit our extended family. We often stay in our grandparents' apartment. But here's the thing, we often ride in our grandpa's car, which he parks in the underground parking lot that the apartment complex offered. Well, I was and still am afraid of the underground parking lot. And I can already tell that most people in the comment section are probably roasting me like, "Oh, what's so scary about that? You're such a scaredy cat." Well, my friend, then you're probably thinking of the underground parking lots of Chinese malls. And in the underground parking lots of Chinese malls, when you get to the elevator waiting room, you would find it very tiled up, furnished, and pretty much clean and kept in well condition. But my apartment's underground parking lot? Oh, hell nah. Everything there was gray, black, and white, with paint peeling, the numbers of the apartment towers spray painted and blurred out. And once you step inside, the light suddenly flickers on, revealing the waiting room. In the waiting room, there is a large door for the emergency exit and one creepy elevator in the middle. And every time we come back from a night out at a restaurant, we would have to wait there. And guess what? It gets worse! Not only do the lights suddenly go out, every time that we come back, the neighbor, who lives on the highest floor of the apartment, is already using the elevator. So I would have to endure that torture for what felt like hours. And my brother has the nerve to act so surprised whenever the elevator goes to the highest level. He would often say something like, "哇，这个电梯去很高的楼啊，哥，现在不是时间啊，我只想回家啊." And every time that happens, I would always be thinking, man, they're making me wait for too long. If this continues, I'ma run up that emergency exit and kick their... Not just kidding, but I would be thinking that something will pop out of nowhere and jump me. And it's all because of that neighbor's fault. And why not climb up the emergency exit stairs, someone might ask? Well, my grandparents are kind of old and they prefer to not walk up the stairs, so that's why they used an elevator. And it's also because I don't know what the hell was going to come out of the emergency exit. Like, what if something jumps me? So yeah, I would rather get trapped inside an elevator, because if I were to get trapped, then at least nothing can go in and hurt me. Actually, we did get trapped inside an elevator once. Me, my grandma, and my brother were heading home from a friend's apartment, and we headed to the underground parking lot to avoid a rainstorm. And just by that, a lot of people can already tell where this is going. So the elevator arrives and we get in with 2 other people. And when the elevator was about to close, it stopped halfway. And me, being a paranoid little kid back then, immediately blamed the other 2 people who were in the elevator with us. Thankfully, we were able to get out just fine without calling for help, but that means we would have to use the emergency exit. So I followed the others up the stairs, and then... No, just kidding. The emergency exit was not that bad. In fact, it was quite decent actually. But I never outgrew that fear. Oh, and I think that's something worth mentioning is the fact that whenever I'm riding a car and we drive through a tunnel, I would always plug my ears and hold my breath. Why, you might ask? For the part where I hold my breath, I actually don't know. But for the part where I plug my ears, it is quite valid because I do not like the sudden loud honking noises. And since we're in a tunnel, the honking noises will echo and will become too loud for my eardrums to handle. This is why I always beg the driver to close the windows whenever we're going through a tunnel. And I am so glad that I'm not the only one who thinks that way, because every time I go to China and I arrive at a tunnel or an underground parking lot, it is always dotted with no honking, no honking, no honking. But sadly, I don't think we have that rule in lots of tunnels here in the US, so it looks like I'm going to have to ride the car with the windows closed. And I think that another thing worth mentioning is the fact that I'm scared of the CAPTCHA audio. For those who don't know, CAPTCHA is a security action performed by websites where they check to see if you're not a robot. Not sponsored or anything like that. I'm just mentioning this one thing that they do. They often do something like click every part of the stoplight or click the images that contain a van. However, what counts as a part of the stoplight though? But it's okay, as CAPTCHA has another way of testing to see if you're quote-unquote not a robot. They will also make you type a combination of random letters and numbers. They will appear curved, warped, and often have lines crossing through them. It is so that only you can read it, but bots cannot. Sounds way more convenient, am I right? But guess what? it also has a flaw as well. This is because sometimes they make you type special characters. And by that, I do not mean symbols or the Greek alphabet. I am talking about whatever the hell this thing is. Thankfully, I never had to type random symbols just to enter a website. But let's just say that you had to face CAPTCHA, and the first two options were a no-go for you. Now you're at your final option, the audio. So if you choose the audio option, what they would make you do is play an audio file. And as you play that audio file, you will have to type in the numbers that you hear. But when you press play, well... So yeah, I think that's pretty much self-explanatory on why I hate it so much and why I'm still scared of it to this very day. I vividly remember this one time in 5th grade where we were getting our Chromebook set up with our school accounts. My stupid self typed in the wrong password too many times, and so a CAPTCHA option appeared, and it required me to listen to the audio and type the numbers that I hear. And since it would not let me re-enter my password again, I had to choose the CAPTCHA option. So I played it, and my classmate who was sitting next to me was like, "Yo, what the?" So the next fear started all the way back in 2020. You know, when this thing was dominating the world? And because of that, everyone was trapped indoors and their only connection to the outside world was the internet. I was very into Minecraft and still am to this very day. And because people like Preston, Bionic Silver, and Dream were going viral, I was like, you know what, I should start a channel as well. I was about 9 to 10 years old at that time. And I'm so happy that my Chinese father broke the stereotypes a little and actually supported the idea of me having a YouTube channel. So I went to check everything out, and when I clicked the upload video button, it took me to the YouTube studio. However, I immediately clicked off. Why, you might ask? Well, here's what I was thinking at that time. I thought that a signal traveled from my computer and it hit a satellite, and I was being broadcasted all over the world for millions of people to see. I have a bathroom attached to my bedroom, and every time I change, I would just flop onto my bed and change like normal. But I cannot do that anymore because I thought people were watching me. So I would just stand off to the side and do it the much more harder way. But hey, at least I'm a YouTuber now and actually know what I'm doing. And I know that I'm in the clear because I did not upload anything back then. Funny enough, that fear actually delayed my YouTube dream a little. So yeah. And my final fear is... spending billions of years making a YouTube video just for no one to watch it. So if you like this video, feel free to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for more story times. Special thanks to Jiraiya Animates and Broadanimations for doing some of the voice acting in this video. So be sure to check out their content as well. So see you in the next video. Peace!